Hey guys, it's Troy here, and if you're like me, you may be still waiting to get your new Endless Creator fountain pen, the new retractable pen from Endless Pens. Yeah, I've been waiting for mine for quite a while now, and I prepaid for mine, pre-ordered it, and I'm sure a lot of other people did. Some people have actually gotten them when they ordered them directly from Endless. I prepaid mine through a distributor that I do a lot of business with, and I'm still waiting because they haven't made it to distributors. So in the meantime, I'm on social media and I see a retractable fountain pen for sale fairly inexpensively, and here it is. And there was really no name to it. As a matter of fact, here are some of the videos on social media that they had advertising this particular pen. So pretty cool, right? So I figured, let's give it a shot. I went ahead and ordered it. As a matter of fact, the pen was only $6.99 when I ordered it, and they were going to charge me $4.98 shipping, and then they threw on $3.04 in tax. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And that didn't show up until the final payment, you know, the final screen of the payment. And so I looked at it and said, that's not right. As it went through, so I emailed them. I said, look, why are you charging me $3.04 on tax? There is no VAT tax. At most, my tax rate should be X, which I think is like 6.75%. And I said, so that's the maximum. Not that I think that you're going to be paying that tax to my local state and county within the United States. And they said, yeah, sorry, it was a mistake. So we went ahead and they refunded me to $3.04, as well they should have. So if you go to buy it now, I don't think this pen is just $6.99. You go to their website, and depending upon what seller may be on that same website, you may find it more. I've seen it like $15 up to $24. And I'm glad I got it at the $6.99 price, considering what I got. Well, this baby just arrived in the mail today. So this is kind of a first impressions video, and I wish I knew what to call it. All it said was retractable fountain pen, and I figured it was, you know, an Asian-made pen. So you saw what it did in the video. Well, let's take a look. Does it do it? Yes, it does. It does retract. But one of the things, look, there's no window or no little door on this thing. So it retracts, but it's not capless. I'm used to the idea of a capless pen. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm used to, like, oh, let's say the Pilot Vanishing Point, or the Platinum Curidas. You know, they both have a nice little trap door that you can see that hides that nib and keeps it dry. Or actually keeps it moist rather than so that it won't dry out. So that's what I was used to. Well, in the packaging, which, by the way, it just arrived in a little tiny padded mailer about that yay big, and it was wrapped in the cellophane here. And that's all it was. I didn't expect a whole lot that way, but wrapped tightly within that cellophane, it was sitting in this. So I'm thinking, all right, was that something they put on just for shipping or what? So when I first got it, I pulled it apart. I haven't even inked this baby up yet. So I was like, all right, I actually, because it's stuck inside that cellophane wrapper, I just went ahead at first and just chucked it in the trash, figuring, all right, it must be something they did just to keep it in shipping. Until I started to look at it and play with it, it's like, wait a minute. There's no trap door. So this is going to dry out. All right, problem number one. Problem number two is this is a really inexpensive hard plastic. It's nothing special. You do have that triangular grip down here. So if you don't like the triangular grip, you're really not going to like this. You've got a serviceable clip, nothing special clip, you know, sort of Lamy Safari style on that. And you saw in those little videos where it screws apart. And I thought it was just going to come only with a cartridge, but they actually included a converter in with this. So you do have a converter. And by the way, I had somebody ask me on one of my YouTube videos about that little ball that was inside, that little agitator that's inside a converter. Yeah, that's by design. So don't worry about that. And basically, this is what you got. So you got your little nib and your feed down inside of here. And this little plastic O-ring here, which seems to be only for aesthetic purposes, really, but maybe it actually acts as a spacer as well. But that's it. This is all there is to it. Put it back together, and there you got that. Then you screw it back together, and then you can go back to that. So, this is what I've got. Can't forget that. Without that, you're hosed. You're going to need it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and ink this baby up, and I'll do some writing with it, and I'll see how well it writes. I'm going to try some new ink that I got. Sailor Inks, 50 US states. So, little 20 milliliter bottle like this. The problem I have with it, that's like a $25 bottle of ink, and it's only 20 milliliters. And I got the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire is near and dear to my heart. I grew up in the state of New Hampshire, or as New Hamster, as I affectionately call it. So, I went ahead and got this ink. I did put it in another pen, and so this is what you got for that little sailor bottle. And this ink is kind of, it's a purplish gray. And it does say right there, a purplish gray color. This ink developed because of the state's nickname, the Granite State. Well, it also has purple in lilacs and finches in that area. So I'll go ahead and ink this up with this sailor ink, and I'll be back and we'll try it out to see if it writes and if it's worth anything, even close to the $6.99 price. We'll find out. Well, that was an educational experience trying to ink this this baby up, trying to figure out how to do it. So, a couple of things that I found with it. Number one, obviously you're not going to have that on it, but you're going to have it unscrewed. All right, and then, you know how sometimes with what you end up doing with like lever fillers, vintage pens, you would literally dip this down into the ink and you would move a lever or a squeeze converter or something in order to express ink or press a button on the back. So I tried that at first just to see if that's how it was going to work. And you know, even with a regular old converter, you would dip it down in ink and screw it, or even with these push, and I really hate these push converters, to try it that way. Well, it didn't work that way. And I just couldn't get any ink to come up by dipping this down in. Okay, well, I can't get that nib unit to come out that I know of, because I haven't torn it apart any further and I don't want to damage it. So I ended up just essentially pulling this out. And I dipped it down into the ink and sucked up the ink in this and then put it back in. And seated it firmly there. So now that I've been playing with it like this, I'm going to give it a little bit of grace when I go to write with it, because I know that I just monkeyed with it. So let's see if it does okay on the writing. So this is an unknown brand of retractable fountain pen. By the way, if anybody knows what brand this actually is, because there's no branding on this pen whatsoever, no branding in any of their videos, no branding in the sales or on the website, anything. It just calls it retractable fountain pen is all that it says. Surprisingly, you know, it's got a fine line. I expected it to have a fine or extra fine nib because that is very typical with Oriental or Asian brands. I didn't expect much more than that when you saw the videos where it's just a tiny little tip. So you've got the semi-hooded nib concept going on, or a hooded nib, if you will. But it's actually smoother than it looks. It looked to me like it was going to be kind of scratchy, just by first estimate of eyeballing it. But this actually is not too bad in terms of its ability to write. So the Sailor New, the Shire of New Hamp. That gives you a little smear to give you a little bit more of what that ink is supposed to really look like. It doesn't do a great job showing otherwise. But the Sailor New Hampshire ink. The Granite State. Alright, so I will retract that. And I gotta remember, don't ever lose this. It does not post on here, so once you click it, you know, it's going to be recessed, and there's no way, even if it did post. So you're just going to have to not lose this. There's no other way of putting it. You're just going to have to not lose this cap, or this is going to dry out. There is just no other way of looking at it. And it does at least seat on there nicely. Retractable, yes. Capless, no. Inexpensive, yeah. You know, with tax, it was like $12 or something. But you know, it's not the greatest quality. It does work. It clicks well. It actually wrote fairly well, surprisingly so. But it's a retractable, but it's not a capless. So that was a disappointment to me. It was a learning experience to play with it. I mean, it's fairly comfortable in the hand. It's long enough to be okay for me to use. I'll keep it here on my desk. I'll probably use it for quick notes and jots and stuff. It's not something that I would do for an everyday carry because I don't want to lose this. So this will not travel with me. I will not put this in my pocket. I will not carry it with me because I don't want to lose this. If I lose that, I mean, the pen's going to be useless to me. So that's a major drawback as far as I can see. You know, the construction materials, it feels like it could break you know, on you, but it's probably going to be just as rugged as any Jinhao type pen that you might have. So I'm not going to worry too much about it breaking. But I don't know. I don't think I'd buy it again, even at $6.99 or $7 or however much I paid for it. I wouldn't buy it again. You know, they have different colors that were available. You saw on the video, in a nicely produced video for social media, and I'm sure they got a lot of people to buy them. I wanted the blue because to me, okay, it's a guy pen, and it's going to be for me and my use. So I won't give this to my children. I thought about maybe passing it on to my kids until I got to the point of I don't want to lose that little cap right here because it's going to be useless to them too. So I'm just going to make this a desk pen, so it'll just sit here. So there you go. My thoughts on the retractable fountain pen that you're going to see, if you haven't already, advertised on social media.